Race number 9 of the Integrity Ignite Series takes us to our second international stop on the tour. Last time we went international, it was Okayama, and the man on your screen, Matthew Thonorth, came home on the top of the board. But this time, we're in Germany, and we're doing it just a bit different, but it will be great nonetheless. Welcome to the Nürburgring, and this is the Task Force 300 Grand Prix. Qualifying going to be underway this time around, as Thonorth is going to be the first man to lead you in, as the number 8 machine comes down through the DRS front stretch zone and takes us into our first timed lap. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I am David Kreutz. I truly do hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation as we just get things kicked off here in Nürburg. It's going to be a great show, and this is not the Nordschleife. You might have already noticed it by this point, but this is the Grand Prix configuration known officially as the Grand-Prix-Strecke, meaning this is the route used in Formula One competition, or at least it was. It's been almost about 5 years since the Nürburgring was used in any sense in Formula One, but we'll see it today in its purest form on simulation racing. This is iRacing, and this is not with a Formula One machine. This is with the NASCAR Xfinity Series stock car machines, and a great set of drivers to go right there with them. Race number 9 of the season, as we said, and drivers are getting ready to get going yet again. DJ Stagner, defending winner overall. He won the Sky Fox Designs 200 at Bristol, and right now having a bit of trouble in his outlap, but no worries, he still has 2 time laps to get it done. As it stands, drivers setting laps in around the 1 minute and 50-second range. Keep an eye out for that as the night goes on. They'll be using a modified setup from the one used at Watkins Glen in iRacing official competition, so you want to keep an eye out on how these guys are able to make that car work, because it is not specifically curated for this circuit. It's more so for the upstate New York track, and this time about it's not going to be New York, it's going to be in Germany, a much different circuit, but all the same in one aspect. It is a road circuit, as Rob Ackley making his way down and around himself. Going to see that that's going to be the pit entry. He's almost done with his lap this time around, coming through the front stretch. Justin Morton top of the board with a 149.67. That's one of the fastest laps we've seen all session long, practice or qualifying, so a very impressive start for the man in that number 9 machine. Keep an eye out for him as the night goes on. A very good road course racer, had a strong start to Okayama, and that was his best race of the season, so keep an eye out for him. Rob Ackley that time by set a 151.788 as we are getting things settled. Now it's going to be Alan Dobbs, 4th on the board, to Travis McQuistion, who goes up into the 2nd. He's going to be 2 seconds off of your provisional pole sitter, and then Cody Smith goes up into the 6th, and Thomas Bressi is about 4/10 off in position number 2 in the Task Force 300 paint scheme. The number 24 machine carrying the colors of our primary sponsor for tonight's event. We'll give you more information on what Task Force 300 is as the night goes on, as the number 24 Exalta machine gets himself right back on the circuit, exalting that energy and putting himself back on the track for one more good lap. And Justin Morton still going to be top of the board here in qualifying. A great job the first lap by. He still has an opportunity to go one quicker this time around, and we will see whether or not it is in fact quicker. As it stands on our timing and scoring charts, he's about 2/10 up on his last lap. Good sign of things to come for the man in that number 9 machine. The unsponsored Toyota Supra putting together a super run here in qualifying, as Cody Griffin goes 3rd and Braxton DeWeese goes into 4th. As we mentioned, DeWeese, got to thank Mike Ort and Chris DeWeese. Thank you for stopping by. Leif Opstad, thank you for stopping by as well. Great to see the fan support as we are getting things kicked off, as the number 15 machine is currently just outside of your podium on the board so far. Nice to see. Running very well in qualifying. We'll see if it transfers over to our 40 lap main event. Going to be the mum in the number 9 machine, and that man, Brian McFerrin, extends his gap. That's a 149.48 for him that time around, and Thomas Bressi now back on the move once more. Alan Arnamage's LSR TV, thank you both for stopping by, and LSR TV, a proud, of course, promoter of the Road to Pro NASCAR iRacing series in tandem with us at FTN. Love to see the support from there, and tonight it's a great thing to have, of course, the community of sim racers coming together. The number 24 machine to Thomas Bressi, 3rd on the board. Let's take a look inside that cockpit and see exactly what he sees in that Chevy Camaro. Take a look here and now. This is inside Thomas Bressi's number 24. And coming down to the front stretch, this is in real time. Now, Thomas Bressi, we mentioned it before, races on VR, so this is not his, of course, headset seeing him, but you see exactly what he's seeing right now in his VR headset. And going down into the first series of turns, the number 24 machine gets it down on the brakes. Minor head movements inside the number 24 machine, and Bressi's head movements are shown in this perspective. Unlike using monitors for iRacing, you can see exactly what you want to see, exactly when you want to see it. So Bressi can turn his head left, right, up, down, whatever he needs to see, he'll be able to get it in real time. No animations, no transition delay. It's all access for the man in the 24, representing our primary race sponsor's colors, the red, white, and blue. And it's going to be a nice run for him so far, and truly one of the best in these road races. And right now, it's showing he's 6/10 off your pole position. The number 24 machine is going to be third on the board. 6/10 off indeed to Justin Morton. As we take a quick look at his onboard, we'll see more from him as the night goes on. Once again, got to thank Thomas Bressi, a major ambassador for, of course, our broadcast with the onboard software, the first man to do it here on FTN. And right now, Cody Griffin on the move in the number 3 machine. Braxton Louise going to be in 6th. Travis McCushion is in 7th. And Alec Daffin, who's had a series of strong runs as of recent, going down from the second corner on his way. It's almost like a reverse of the Spa-Francorchamps final few turns before you get into the front stretch where the start-finish line is. So Alec Daffin able to maneuver nice and smooth there. Daffin having a strong run in the Stock Car Racing League Red Line Truck Series where we saw him on Saturday night. But as the leader, he got wrecked by a lap machine, and that was all she wrote. Tonight looking to get a bit more out of it as 41 laps of action. It's going to be down to 40 as a matter of fact. We don't expect to see a full course yellow all night long unless we get a major incident at the very beginning. DJ Stagner, the man who won last week, going to be 13th on the board so far, and Gael Brooks going to be 13th right in front of him. And you can see that number 71 machine making his way left, right, up, down, and the 71 has a big wiggle that time around, and he's going to be all the way in the grass. It might be a invalidation of his lap, not a disqualification, but he's in all sorts of trouble drifting this thing around. And I think at this point he's done with his qualifying laps. This might just be a bit of a struggle for him, intentionally trying to get himself accustomed to the handling. These stock cars have far less downforce than a sports car, a Formula 1 machine, or anything of the like. So as a driver, you try to get used to that very early on. Of course, some of these guys are more versatile in iRacing. Others have a lot of things to do outside the sim, so most often, they only practice the certain league-specific setups or the league-specific combos they need to do in order to succeed. Right now, Gael Brooks going to be in 13th. Joe Dinsmore is in 14th. Alan Rawa right now going to be 19th on the board. His best lap, a 1:58. The final man with a time lap thus far as Jacob Pfeiffer has just joined the session. And Forrest Smith in the 84 machine has yet to take a timed lap. He's taken one lap overall, but it looks like not enough time to get one that will be timed. Trevor Drago now on his way. 20 seconds on the board for him. Will he be able to get it done and stick one on the board? That remains to be seen. And Trago looks to be a bit far out on that start-finish line, taking a downhill run in the final seconds of qualifying, but I believe that's going to be all she wrote for the man in that number 37. And with that being said, Trago not going to be able to put a lap in. Your post hitter will be Justin Morton in the number 9 as everyone despawns from the circuit and we get our final minutes of warm-up. Let's get right into it here. Warm-up, the final adjustments that you can make on the car, brake bias, steering ratio, maybe some in-car settings not related to your iRacing setup. It's here and now where you want to make them, and here and now where you have one final chance to take what you can get and maybe add on to that. Give us just a moment as we get your starting grid on your screen, and Justin Morton in his beautiful number 9 Toyota Supra right there as he's the first man out here in warm-up, and it looks like he's putting it back where he finished qualifying, out in front. Gael Brooks is right behind in the frame for now, and we've only got a few seconds before you get your starting grid on your screen. Without further ado, this is going to be your second international venture in the Integrity Ignite Series, and this is your second road course race of the season. Round 9, this is the Task Force 300 Grand Prix, and it's going to be the man on the top of the board for this Grand Prix, a 149.294 for Justin Morton, pole position, and he's got it handily over 1/10. The gap is Thomas Bressi going to be second in the number 24, 149.381 for him. Then it's going to be Matthew Thornhorst there in third, going to be a 149.583 as Rob Ackley 2 seconds off of him has a 151.18 second, and it's going to be a 187 7, almost 2 seconds off of the man in the third spot right there. A big deficit of pace displayed in your second row. Cody Griffin going to be there as well, 5th on the board, 151.468, with Braxton Louise having a 151.486. He'll be rounding out your Super 6 as Cody Smith in 7th going to have a 151.512. Outside row number 4 going to be Travis McQuiston, 151.552 on his end. Alec Daffin going to be right there as well, 151.563. Kyle Cooper going to have a 151.691 in 10th, and in 11th spot is going to be the man in that number 64, defending winner, climbing his way up a bit after we last checked up on him. Stagner, 151.936, right beside Alan Dodge with 151.949. From there on out, going to be Gael Brooks in the 13th position and Joe Dinsmore in 14th. 51.994 for the 13th spot on the grid. And outside row 7 going to be a 153.644 for Dinsmore. Going to be 15th spot Brian McFerrin, and that number 7 able to take it up to the 153.8 range. 817 in the decimals for him. Looking to get his lucky number in that number 7 machine here and now. The number 7 right beside your number 81, Brendan Bernhardt, 154.002 for the man in 16. Brandon Wencher going to be able to make it so 17th on the grid with a 154.935, and Boomer Logan with a 155.561 going to be there in 18th. The final man to take a time lap is the number 43 machine, and he's going to have a 158.896. That's Alan Rowell. And rounding out your top 20, who else but the league owner of the Integrity Racing League, Jacob Fife. Not able to take a time lap. A few of the drivers there in his boat. That's going to be Cal Filarski, 21st. For Smith in 22nd, and finally riding shotgun on the field, Trevor Tragan on 23rd, and that will be your starting grid for tonight's event, the Task Force 300 Grand Prix. And as we get into it in just a moment, we'll get your ticker about up on your screen, and as it gets right back up, well, you can still see Justin Morton getting some good laps in, establishing his pace, getting himself much more consistent time after time. Right now, warm-up, we don't often see faster laps than we see in first practice or in qualifying. At this point in the stage of this session, you just want to get some more safe laps in, establish your race pace, and go from there. And right now, for the man at the number 9 machine, he's got all that clean air that he could possibly want, and he has himself going down to pit road as it stands, 1 minute on the board, and he's going to be practicing that green flag pit entry. We do expect a one-stop strategy. He comes into pit road that time by Gael Brooks, going to be coming in as well in the 71 machine, and DJ Stagner is far from stagnant. He'll stay out on the circuit and try to get himself to the top of the board here in warm-up. Kerry Hopkins, Alan Dart's Images, once again, Kelly Allen, thank you all for stopping by. Greatly appreciate the support here and now as the race has yet to begin, but I'm certain that we are not far from great race in action. Gael Brooks down on pit road, Justin Morton going to be there in the 9 machine, and Kyle Cooper in the 73, going to be right behind the Alec Daffin machine, as right now, good majority of the drivers are on pit road. Matthew Thornhurst, who won at Okayama, right now on the circuit, but he's going to despawn as soon as we mention him. And the key to success for Matthew Thornhurst, as we focus on the one man getting laps in Alan Rowell, the key to success is sometimes the start of the race. Lap number 1, turn number 1, Rowell, well, he was not in the front of the pack, but Justin Morton was, and Morton, who started that race on the pole position, might have just lost it all on the very beginning segment. Matthew Thornhurst able to run away with Ethan Lane and Thomas Bresci, and that was all she wrote. You want to get a great start here, and you want to get a great finish as DJ Stagner, the one and only man to get a timed lap in your warm-up session. The 64 makes it so in the Task Force 300 GP. The task for him, winning back-to-back. It remains to be seen whether or not he'll be able to do just that, as here we go again. Going to be the man in that number 9 machine, Justin Morton, top of your board. Thomas Bresci going to be there in second, and I do believe we'll have a rolling start to get this one going. Give us just a moment to reset our iRacing timing and scoring to ensure you see more of the top 5 as the night goes on. It seems like there's a bit of a glitch with iRacing scoring as of recent. Sometimes they will only show you the top 5 so long as fewer than 5 people go out in our warm-up. Road cases, well, road courses are a case in their own right, susceptible to that glitch, and to get the optimal viewing experience, give us just a moment to get right back into it, and here we should be able to go from, of course, here on out, the iRacing official pace car. Tonight, it's going to be a Ford Mustang leads the entirety of the field, with a Chevy and a Toyota on your front row. It's going to be the Toyota of Justin Morton, the top man, with Thomas Bressi in second. And right now, it looks like every driver is on the field, bar one, and we'll be able to grab a gear this time by Morton. Going to be in, of course, the first spot, has that inside line going into their first turn, and most often you don't see them take a right turn for the first here with stock cars, but tonight is going to be much different. Expect the unexpected, and tonight Justin Morton expecting one thing, of victory, to of course finish off a great night that he's had so far. Always a contender in these road courses, far from a road course ringer, but the luck he's had not optimal at all. This could be his first breakout night, hoping for win number 1 on the season. And the number 9 machine going through, it's going to be single file. A good majority of them go not much side by side in the pace lap. Of course, guys trying to keep it safe. Dobbs is going to be there with Daffin. But now it looks like it will be in the number 9 machine's hands. The Task Force 300 Grand Prix, and the task for everyone is to get that victory. One man starting on the top of the board, that's Justin Morton. As we get right into it here and now, Morton going to lead him all off, and we will go green for the first time here in Germany. The Nürburgring says hello to the Integrity Night Series, and Justin Morton says hello to the first green flag lap. Let's go racing from the Nürburgring. And minor contact that time by the battle for lead. It is already a bit of a shifter as Thomas Bressi goes out in front of Justin Morton. Matthew Thunderst, as we mentioned, going to be right there in third. He never skips a beat here at a road course. And as we get things settled in, there's going to be a lot of racing and a lot of biding time as we still have 40 laps on the board here, and it's going to be all the way green. Trevor Drago in a bit of trouble himself. DJ Stagner now going to be in 24th. Rommel has front end damage. And looking in the back of the field here, it looks like a good majority of these drivers do get through without much of a major impact. However, minor damage is already being accumulated, so keep an eye out for that as the night goes on. Thomas Bressi now out in front. It only took him about 2 turns to get it, and he got it unequivocally. And it's going to be his and his only as we are now in full swing under green. And you can see the elevation shifts here in the Nürburgring, up, down as they go left and right. Going to be a bit of a challenge to manage that here with the lack of downforce, as we mentioned, not only because it is a bit trickier to use all of the circuit. You might end up being on the gravel, on the grass. It's also because you could get yourself very uneven, perhaps bottom out or have your tires go all the way off the grip, and you might just find yourself lost in the circuit as a result. The final miniature chicane before they get it going into the pit entry section, and the number 24, the number 9, and the number 8 lead by a wide margin on Rob Ackley and Cody Griffin. As it stands, Griffin is the man leading that battle as we check our close-up drone shot here. The number 3 machine able to pull away just a bit, and you can see Cody Griffin, the man on your screen, is currently in position number 4. Matthew Thunder is going to be in third right in front. Rob Ackley does dive it in much deeper there. What will Ackley be able to do that time by? Not all too much as they go right in, taking the curbs to perfection, although Ackley going to gain big on that exit. Nice and smooth for him as Thomas Bressi running the smoothest race of them all thus far. 2 laps in, he's a man out in front with decent distance on the remainder of the pack. Justin Morton going to be there in second. Matthew Thunder is going to be there in, of course, the third spot. And now these top 3 guys almost in a frame of their own live on FTN. AV8, Django, thank you for stopping by. Right now, Travis McQuistion, as I mentioned, and we're going to be in 11th spot fighting to get up to Alec Daffin and Alan Dobbs. Kyle Cooper going to be in 8th as well. A nice and steady run for Cooper so far, and a commendable effort to keep himself in it with a bit of rear end damage. Although we get side by side with Daffin, and Daffin going to almost lose a spot there, but not too much to worry about. Nice for him. Gael Brooks having a great run in his own right now, chasing McQuistion, and you will keep an eye on these mid-pack battles as much as we will. And of course, a lot of action throughout the entirety of the field, up throughout the front of the pack and down to the back. We'd love to keep an eye on all of it, and that is what we will do, as right now Bressi extending that gap out in front. 2 going to make it 3 next time around. That number 24 is sailing so far with Justin Morton right there in tow, and Matthew Thunderst there in third. And looking throughout the majority of the field, checking the back of the pack, you can see one man goes way wide. That's DJ Stagner. Stagner able to go from 23rd up into the 18th spot. now going to be looking for 17th. And take a look at this. Out on the back bumper of Boomer Logan, they all go in to the braking zone. Oh, it looks like Stagner going to try to force a mistake. He does get on the brakes a bit earlier, but then gets a lot more of a lenient entry, and that will get him a much better exit. You can see he drives right up on Logan that time around, and this lenient entry strategy gives him a lot more power down through the middle segment and the exit. And coming down to the stripe once again, Logan just not able to do it the same way as Stagner, and he'll be able to make that pass through and through. And they go through the front stretch that time by a methodical method. Indeed it is, as Stagner makes it so, gets that 17th spot, only for now. Then he's going to let Stagner, of course, see himself through. Boomer Logan does, and a nice and smooth switchback. Logan not going to be able to make it happen, but it's going to be a mistake forced from Stagner there, and he goes just a bit wide, and for his sake, very lucky to not have anyone come up right on him. Alec Daffin loses about 5 seconds on the lap now. He's got a little bit of time established between him and Alan Dobbs. Dobbs is going to be side by side with Travis McQuistion, as McQuistion now going to be able to make himself known for the battle in that top 10. He's just outside of the 9th spot right now. Jacob Fife already there in 11th. What a run for him, starting in the top 20, but just barely in 20th. He's made it up about 9 spots as is, and he's gaining more and more of them goes in front of him. And what goes around comes around for some drivers. It looks like the car almost came around for Travis McQuistion. And while it's been going well so far, now Jacob Fife putting down the pressure for the Ford EcoBoost number 93. He's going to need a bit of a boost in his own right. And right now, it's going to be Jacob Fife, the man to keep an eye out for. That number 36 is all the way up into 11th. From, of course, starting in the back of the field, Thomas Bresci, though, has an 8/10 advantage over Justin Morton. They're in position number 2. The top 3 now about 5 seconds on the man in 4th. Rob Ackley going to be in 5th. Braxton Deweese going to be in 6th right now, getting hounded by Cody Smith. And right now is Chevy on Chevy battle for position number 6 as it stands. Braxton Deweese does in fact have the edge as they go down to the front stretch. He's got about a 3/10 of a second advantage that time by the 4th lap. They're in it now. And as they come into the first switchback section, a left-right, it's going to be a major right-hander first. As a matter of fact, Smith gets right up to that bumper, getting oh so close on the first apex. The second, not so much, and that's when Deweese is able to put the power down once more. A nice and smooth move as the man in that number 15 machine blinks just a bit in and out, and we'll check on board with the man in the number 18 to see his perspective, as right now Cody Smith does have a bit of a crumple on his front end, but it does not seem to deter him, not at all. Great racing so far. The battle is proving to be one of calculation and not one of desperation, so we'll keep an eye on it for the remainder of the night. 6th spot is in contention right now, but Braxton Deweese does in fact hold on 4 laps in out of 40. And Thomas Bresci, the man on the move, leads this one nice and smooth. Justin Moore going to be right there in 2nd. Matthew Thornor is going to be in 3rd, as Cody Griffin going to be in the 4th spot right now, with Rob Ackley there in 5th. Your top 5 able to pull away from the good majority of the field. The closest battle as is Stagner and Brandon Bernhardt, as Stagner has been charging back after a very early setback in his race. And right now he looks to be faster than any man in that top 10 range, or rather the sub-top 10 range, as he is now setting laps in the 155s, which is quicker than Bernhardt, and he gets down to the inside line to prove it. Bernhardt goes wide, Stagner goes inside and gets that spot easily, and he does it without much hesitation. DJ going to be on his way, as Ford Smith is there in 15th. He has about a 1 second advantage of Stagner, and DJ Stagner is charging hard to try to make it back up. We'll see how long it takes to get right up there. Thomas Bresci, the top man on the board, with Justin Morton there in 2nd. Matthew Thornor is going to be in 3rd. Once again, as you see right now, Justin Morton is only 6/10 off that time by. He did gain a 1/10 of a second on his most recent lap, and the tire degradation is coming into effect. Thomas Bresci's best lap of the night has been a 150.013 in the race, to say the least. And in this qualifying session, of course, that we saw before, it was in the 149 segment, but his most recent lap in the race was a 150.785, losing about 7/10 on his end. Morton's only lost 4/10, but that's because his best lap is about 2.5 off of Bresci's. Even though that is the case, your first lap, or your flying lap, will not get you the victory. A qualifying heroic effort might be able to put you up in the top 5 for a good amount of time, but you need to finish off strong, and going for a long run with only 1 pit stop to reset your mindset is a very, very major challenge, and that cannot be understated, especially at road courses. Right now, Thunderhurst holds on in third, putting down the powers. Rob Ackley going to be there in fourth. Cody Griffin's going to be in fifth, and Cody Smith is there in sixth. Braxton Louise going to be in the seventh spot as Cody Smith pulling away further and further. That number 18 machine able to get that spot, and he will not relinquish it. Nice and smooth motion to land in that number 18. The Bud Light number 18 does not take it lightly. He's currently going to be sixth on the board without much of a battle. Kyle Cooper going to be right there in eighth. Travis McQuistion going to be ninth, and Jacob Fife will be in 10th as Alan Dobbs holds on to the 11th spot, and Fife makes it up to the top 10, chasing down Travis McQuistion as we speak. And 5 laps in, the number 93 machine has yet to catch Kyle Cooper. A nice and smooth run for the Kyle Cooper machine. He takes that curb, and he takes it aggressively and using every inch of the circuit that he can to optimize his apexes. And while that was absolutely optimization of the apex, it might have come at a cost, as right now the McQuistion machine has a major run. We'll see what he's able to do with it this time by riding on board with the man in that number 93. This is inside the cockpit. This is facing him, but take a look right outside. You can see that window. Oh, so narrow, so a limited field of view, especially in that cockpit perspective here on iRacing, and using everything you have to make yourself quicker. It looks like a nice and smooth switchback to get more momentum off the second exit, and that's always what matters. You might be able to set yourself up for some nice defense off the first one, but if you can't make that second exit count, you might as well lose the position. That time by Kyle Cooper, able to make it gracefully back on the power, so he did not lose a spot, but certainly is going to be in jeopardy of losing one if the 93 keeps up the pace that he's had so far. And Braxton Louise right there in 7th. Jeff Schmidt, number 15, has 4 seconds up on the man in that number 93. So it looks like McQuistion now going to be the inside line of Kyle Cooper. He gets it done. Nice and easy. The inside line, always the favorable one in a road course. And in most tracks, most circuits, you can almost never take someone up on the outside line. It's seldom seen in open wheel racing, where, of course, the Nürburgring was originally seen in sports car racing, endurance racing. But here, of course, in NASCAR and stock car racing, that's something you can see. But it's a very, very hard task for any driver. And right now, sticking to the essentials is what you want to do, as Jacob Fife right now sticking to the back bumper of that number 73, looking to get one more spot and put himself up into the single digits on the night. He's oh so close, no cigar just yet, and we'll see whether or not he's able to pull himself closer and closer, as he is now within touching distance of the back bumper of the Kyle Cooper machine. Not enough just yet though, and we'll see whether or not it's going to be enough next time around or the time after that. Thomas Bressie leads him down in lap number 7. Justin Morton still going to be 5/10 off that time by. Bressie was 4/10 slower, so he's been fluctuating back and forth, and it has been a challenge for him to keep that lead above a half second, although so far he's been able to do just that. And Justin Morton, his best finish on the season so far is a second place finish. He has described his luck as something, of course, he'd never wish on his worst enemy. It's one of those things where you sort of get yourself into a bind and sort of a bad luck situation. It does not last for 1 week. Sometimes it just goes on and on and on, and you find yourself in a worse situation every time you go out racing. But the 9 machine is an awful lot of talent, and it's on display here tonight. 7 laps in, he's keeping the number 24 honest, and I do believe that he'll be able to put a run to his money as the night goes on, if he's just able to keep himself up here without a mistake. That time by, the 9 machine goes a bit wide, as we mentioned mistakes. Thankfully for his sake, not a major one. He'll be able to regroup and recoup his losses if he keeps it on track. And Matthew Thunderhurst, the last time we went road racing, of course, came out as the winner. And right now, he's sticking himself into that 3rd spot without much contention. As it stands, Rob Ackley, the man in 4th, in a green flag run, is 11 seconds off in only 7 laps of racing. We're almost a fifth of the way through the race, but that is an unbelievable gap put up by these guys out in front. And it goes to show how close these 3 are on pace relative to the remainder of the field. They are simply on another level. And Rob Ackley, don't get anyone wrong, he had a great race in his own right, but he is right now about 3 seconds off the overall best lap by any of the leaders, and 2 seconds off their most recent lap. So he has a lot of pace to get back if he wants to get himself in the podium running. But Ackley, I do believe, will be satisfied with a run like this, especially since right now he's pulling away for the remainder of the field, and especially great drivers including Cody Smith and Cody Griffin. The Codys are now 5th and 6th, with Griffin actually leading Cody Smith right now. And while they have not done battle in quite a while, Cody Smith chasing the number 3 machine and trying to get himself right into that mix. That remains to be seen whether or not he's able to claw himself into the battle. It might happen, it might not, as Braxton Luis makes himself known in position number 7. It's going to be Travis McQuistion in that 8th spot, and Jacob Fife there in 9th as Kyle Cooper rounds out your top 10. And right now, Cooper is, of course, now battling not one but 2 drivers, the Gael Brooks and the Alan Dobbs machine. Dobbs running oh so strong, but not strong enough to get himself in the top 10 or stay in the top 10 just yet. That remains to be seen, of course, for the man in the 73 machine, if he's able to hold on against both of them. Alan Dobbs right now on his back bumper, 4/10 the deficit he has as it stands. And checking the back of the field, a major battle between Trevor Trago and Boomer Logan. This will be for the 20th, or no, the 19th spot. And not if Brian McFerrin can get his hands into it, as it looks like one man going to have a bit of a smoke show. That's one around. It's Brendan Wenchard. And he's going to go right around in the first turn. And he's going to get himself going once again. Let's get an instant replay on the matter here. Find out what just happened, man, in that number 88. Take a look at this. Brendan Wenchard in his number 88 machine goes into the first turn just a bit too hot. And that will be all she wrote. He's going to fall down at a 21st spot, still on the lead lap. A very long circuit, of course, but not long enough for him to keep the spot he was in. Now the 88 machine going to fall down at a 21st, and of course, now going to be more susceptible to being put a lap down as the number 24 comes across the line once again to get himself closer and closer to that lap 10 mark. And a quarter of the way through the race, we almost are. The number 3 machine in position, Matthew Thunner, is now losing time, but Justin Morton is absolutely gaining more and more. Even with the mistake he made beforehand, he got himself right back into it. Bressie goes way wide that time by, and now Morton is within 0.3 of a second. That time by, though, almost going to make it side by side, but not close enough, as the 9 machine goes right there with the 24, and it's going to be the battle between the Chevy and Toyota out in front. 3 manufacturers represented by 3 positions. A Ford is the back end man in that podium position placement, of course, and the Morton machines in second, while Thomas Bressie now has a fight on his hands for anything in this leading battle. Right now, he has been able to hold on to first since the first lap, but not enough, perhaps, to keep it for the remainder of this lap, as Justin Morton is hot on his heels, and now Matthew Thorne is looking to be faster and faster as both the top 2 drivers look to slip up, and the 8 machine is right there with them. They're only separated by about 3 car lengths or so, the remainder of the field over 13 seconds back, but the 24 machine does not give in. And they'll take him to the last chicane very soon. And this time by, it looks like he's still going to be able to hold that lead. And with Thomas Bressie representing Task Force 300 here, the Task Force 300 GP, we were able to get a word on what Task Force 300 is, and you might just be interested, so stick around for this brief, of course, advertisement and a brief information about this group. Task Force 300 is one of Arma 3's premier mil-sim groups, and your home for realistic and exciting virtual military action. They offer exciting and engaging operations every Saturday night for Arma 3 players of all experience levels, including infantry, aviation, recon, and much more. Whether you've got 100 hours under your belt or you are brand new to the game, Task Force 300 is the Mil-Sim home for you. Be sure to check out the link to their Discord in the description to apply and find out more about today's title sponsor, and that is Task Force 300. And this is your lap 10 Task Force 300 task on handbrake. Let's take a lap on board with your race leader. And that will be your Lap 10 Task on Hand break, brought to you by Task Force 300 here in the Task Force 300 Grand Prix. And the man who represents your premier sponsor for this race is currently leading, and Thomas Bressi facing off with Matthew Thonors. Casey Shute, thank you for stopping by, greatly appreciated. And you might notice that Justin Morton is far out of frame. The reason, he's came down pit road and he's going to take his first pit stop very early into the going, and I do believe this one's going to be all about tires. That time by, the Morton machine going to be able to get back on his way, gets right by McQuistion there for 11th, and this lap for him, 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Of course, came down pit road for a total of 40-odd seconds, so he's back on premier pace, and he looks to have something to keep up with the leaders as the night goes on. Keep an eye out for Morton as he makes the first strategic stop, and Jacob Fife, that time by, gets a bit shuffled up, as now there's a major battle held on by Braxton Louise. No, he's not in the battle, but Kyle Cooper now is the man who has multiple drivers chasing him down. Going to be Kyle Cooper there in 7th, Alan Doms there in 8th, and then Gael Brooks in 9th, and now Jacob Fife and Morton are in the mix, and it's going to be about 5 drivers trailing one another, and now McQuistion in frame. The 73 machine has an awful lot of pressure right now, and he's got an awful lot of guys chasing him down for this spot. Now, of course, right now, in the thick of the battle, in the heat of the moment, he might make something happen, or he might let something slip. That all remains to be seen, as the number 73 machine holds on in 7th, and Braxton Louise is currently far out from that battle. Got in total about an 8-second advantage on Kyle Cooper and this major train in the middle of the pack. Take a look on board the man who's in the middle of this battle inside his cockpit. And the reason we choose Gael Brooks for this perspective is not only because you can see the two guys in front of him, but you can faintly see his rear view mirror. And the fact is that these iRacing machines have rear view mirrors, and you can see just about as much in a smaller frame as you can see in the front. And that's crucial data in its own right. Of course, on iRacing, you do have automated spotters if you don't have your own team right there with you. But this mirror gives these drivers the opportunity to see exactly what they want to see. iRacing gives the opportunity to not only use a physical mirror, akin to the dimensions of the NASCAR Xfinity Series mirrors, but also a virtual mirror free of distractions, and that's going to be a choice the drivers make. I'm almost certain that Gael Brooks is one of the guys running on virtual mirrors right now. It is a clear-cut advantage, and right now it's going to be Jacob Fife taking himself down to pit road. He's now falling major spots back, and this might be a multi-stop race by the looks of it. It's 12 laps in. We've had 2 drivers come down pit road. Thomas Bressi, not one of which, as it stands, going to be Matthew Thonors there in 2nd. They have a 16-second edge on Rob Ackley. However, Ackley now only 1 second off of the leading pace. So it looks like as these leaders get slower, Rob Ackley able to maintain his pace, and that's what you love to see. The number 22 machine is far from an underdog here in the Integrity Ignite Series. He lit the fuse quite well. He won at Daytona, but right now he is in a ballpark quite different from Daytona in a metaphorical sense. Of course, it is in the ballpark. It is, of course, racing, but it is a much different scenario with its own attributes and its own differences and challenges. And the number 22 machine has adapted quite well, as he's only gaining more and more time on the leader's pace, learning more and more every lap he gets on the track. Now Thomas Bressi, a dozen in, might have to contemplate when he comes down pit road. It might be soon, it might be later. That, of course, is up to him, and it is up to his judgment. That time by, though, he judges not to come in. It seems like he's going to try to stretch it longer, as Justin Morton makes his way back up into 8th here. He's still 32 seconds off of Thomas Bressi. However, Morton spent 38 seconds on pit road, so that might be him cycling out to the front of the pack if, of course, he's able to get himself through with breakneck pace continuously as he gets by Kyle Cooper without much hesitation. Thomas Bressi might have to spend over 35 seconds on pit road, and that excess time will lose him the lead, but it could be temporarily. Bressi might not only be going to stretch his fuel out, but also might be going for later, newer tires as the night goes on, and degradation being in the several second range, 3 or 4 seconds. Well, that means if you wear your stuff out, you are all but done for. And with an advantage on, of course, cleaner tires, newer tires instead of scuffs, you might have that pace at the tail end to get the victory. We've seen strategy races like that before, and the road course strategy is essential. So you might have to make it happen later, make it count. Of course, when the going gets rough. And right now, Thomas Bressi makes it by effortlessly on Alan Rodwell, so no trouble for him that time by as Alec Daffin comes down pit road in the 15th position. Thomas Bressi in the number 24 still out in front as he's looking to make it a Baker dozen, and that he has. That time around, the number 24 settles the score, and he leads now by almost a second flat. Braxton Louise going to be there in the 6th spot. He's going to be right behind the number 5 machine in position now within a second. He is not. It's going to be able to 4-second gap as Cody Smith has another Cody hanging back by a second. It's going to be Griffin and Smith within that 1-second margin as the closest battle on your circuit as it stands is between the driver of the number 71 machine and the driver of the 05. Gael Brooks is in 10th now, and Alan Dobbs is there in 9th. Gael Brooks running very consistently week after week, unfortunately, for his case, consistently in the mid-pack, if not the back. Tonight, though, been a change of pace and a change of luck, perhaps, and it looks like it's, of course, driver skill keeping up there as well. The 71 machine is in the top 10 out of 23 drivers, so up in the front half of the field all night long, and he's going to be able to keep it consistent and diving into Alan Dobbs that time by no position to be gained, but certainly sending the message that he wants a spot as they go 3 wide for almost a moment there. Kyle Cooper does lose a bit of time. We'll check out just why. Give us just a moment. Instant replay brought to you here on FTN. You can see he just gets onto the corner all the wrong way, and the 73 machine loses not 1, not 2, but 3 spots at once, and now at the back of the battle. Dobbs goes in the pit road at that same moment, and now Travis McQuistion looks to be passing by the field. DeWeese down to pit road. So is Cody Griffin. So is Rob Ackley. Kyle Cooper in the mix as well. And with all this being said, Matthew Thunors now is a race leader as Thomas Bressi comes down and in. He's now actually back out of the circuit, and he's 33 seconds off of the man out in front. However, more importantly, at the moment, he is a total of 5 seconds off of Justin Morton. Now, with that being said, he's got a lot of ground to claw back on, and if he does get caught up in lap traffic or loses some grip, loses patience, he might be having his race thrown out the window. And of course, you don't want to see a driver's race thrown out just like that. A great drive for him so far, but the win is far from secured. So as it stands, Matthew Thuners, the man out in front, and he might be the one who stretches it all the way. This one might be a 2-stopper under green. 14 laps in out of 40. Pit cycle number 1. It is here, and it is now. But the number 8 machine not making it now on his end. He continues to run, waiting for perhaps something to change. Perhaps a shift in momentum on his end is what he wants, as Justin Morton closing in closer and closer, 27 seconds out, so he will have a major advantage on the man in that number 8, and it looks like the undercut might be the way to win it. Here's the number 9 machine, has about 10 seconds to the good, now 12 seconds to the good on Thuners if he chooses to go down pit road. Bressi spent exactly the same amount of time as Morton on pit road, 38.5 seconds, and Bressi had 1/10 of a second more on his pit box, so a bit of a slower stop, but it does not mean all too much because they ended up spending the exact same time on pit road, but they're now within the same front straightaway. That time by Bressi ran, it looks like a 2:22 on our board, so no official scoring on how quick that lap would have been as he's gaining more and more time. Justin Morton knows he's going to fall back further and further on pace, but maybe not in position. It takes one thing to catch someone, another to pass, and now Bressi has to put the power down and chase more and more from that number 9 machine as the rear end of the number 9 fades further and further out of frame for the 24, and he'll have to work his way back to that man out in front as the night goes on. Travis McQuistion going to be in that 4th spot now. Gael Brooks makes his way up to the 5th as the highest man in position who has taken a stop so far is Justin Morton. It's going to be only a few drivers holding on at the moment. It's going to be one man going way off that time by. It's going to be Travis McQuistion in the grass. He's able to keep it going though, and not a major deficit in time, pace, and place, as it currently shows us that about 5-6 drivers are still on the original strategy in the top 10. Going to be Matthew Thuners there in 1st, Gael Brooks going to be in 4th, and McQuistion is in the 5th spot, and now DJ Stagner is in 9th. He's on a 15-lap tire set. So almost halfway through this race, and Thuners goes in that time by. We'll see how long he spends on pit road, as it's going to be Justin Moore home to cycle right through, and he is blazing by at a speed of just about 150, backing it down to 70, 60, almost 50 miles an hour, and getting it right back on the roll there. The number 9 machine going right by the final chicane, and now has about 10 seconds away from that number 8, and down into the pit stall here at the Nürburgring Grand-Prix-Strecke. It's going to be the number 9 machine down through the front in his own right. Backing it down, Boomer Logan right in front, getting that toe, getting all that draft, and the number 8 machine has no choice but to let him by on position so far. Bressie going to be able to make it down in that same vein. Bressie by, and Thunder's now going to be on his move, and he'll be in third quite easily, but he now has even a major gap to Bressie. The number 24 going to be easily there in second, but Justin Morton, looking to turn his season around, is there in first, exactly where he wants to be. And as it stands, we got a total of 25 laps to go here in the Task Force 300 GP. Blue Shade, thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. And Thomas Bressie, a major ambassador for this series. I believe he brought a lot of Task Force guys to watch this stream, so we thank him dearly for his support there. He's putting on a great show for every one of course, the Task Force guys to watch, as well as the, of course, showing for every one of you viewers, whether or not you're interested in sim racing, whether or not this is your first time out, whether or not you, of course, have seen this channel before. We thank you dearly, as right now, this show has been a great one. The drivers giving us all that we've got to work with here. The number 9 machine out in front by a wide margin so far, and while it is about 3.5 seconds, that is a major one here in the Nürburgring, and the second can be gained or lost just like that. The number 9 machine, Justin Morton, knows this. Now, in a road course, unlike an oval that we most often see in the Integrity Ignite series, the major gap in pace can be a few tenths at an oval, but here seconds can be variable. Rob Ackley, who was running 2 seconds down on the leaders, was running in fourth quite solidly, and right now he's in sixth with 2 men to cycle through in Gael Brooks and Travis McQuistion. Cody Smith goes way wide that time by, and the number 18 machine keeps it going, but wow, what a maneuver there. He was two-wheeling it and hopped it all the way through. Now Griffin has a bit of an edge in that super number 3. Rob Ackley, as we mentioned, he's a bit off on pace compared to your top 3, but he's still the 4th best man on the night so far. And even though seconds can be lost lap after lap on his end, he still has the advantage on pace because his consistency is like no other. The 22 machine has yet to make a mistake so far, and through his pit cycle, he is still there, 4th on those with new tires, 2 laps into his stint, and Justin Morton now in a total of 7 laps into his own, the first man to come down pit road facing the consequences. It's now a 2.5 seconds between the top 2, and Bressie getting closer and closer time after time. Closest battle on the circuit, as is, appears to be Brian McFerrin and Trevor Trago. The number 37 machine going to be there in 17th, and the number 18 spot is held by the number 7. It's going to be the Ford-on-Ford battle, the 37 and the 7. This will be for 17th on the board here. So Trago in his Camaro, as a matter of fact, is going to be hounded by the number 7. And while Brian McFerrin does have that damage, he also has something, and it's going to be pace. So despite the damage, despite all that incident that we have seen from him beforehand, the incident seems to be fading away, and he's putting himself back into, of course, the workhouse here, getting himself back up to speed, getting his tires back up to temperature. One man who might have to worry more about tire temperature is Justin Morton. That number 9 machine has slowly but surely burned through the pace that he has in that Goodyear rubber, and right now his Goodyear Eagles might not be able to soar the way they once did before, as the pressing machine sees that Justin Morton got that 2-wheeled. Unbelievable. Take a look back at that. He was all the way sideways as we flipped the camera angles. It looked a bit more extreme when we were switching it through, but just to take a look, Bressie now within 1 second of the man out in front and chasing down just like that. The number 24 looking to settle the score. He's now got 0.8 seconds behind the man at number 9 machine. And keep an eye out on Bressie as he's now backing it in. Once again, the right left-hander akin to Spa-Francorchamps. And now the 9 machine knows that second exit is more important. Bressie gets a more shallow exit and might be able to consolidate that in favor for a better second segment. That remains to be seen as that time by one man who goes down pit road, going to be Travis McQuistion, and the 93 goes down and in just like that. Rob Ackley going to be on the way right now. He will be in 5th as Kyle Brooks holds on, and he looks to be the second to last man to stay on this set. Alan Rowell going to be there as well, and Alan 1 lap down, 17 lap old set. Might be able to stretch it to a one-stopper, as with 23 laps to go, Kyle Brooks, the only man in the top 5 on an old set of tires. His Goodyear stickers have become scuffs, and he will have to come in very soon to get something going. And Kyle Brooks in that 71 machine, as we mentioned, is the only man on an old set. Justin Morton out in front by a wide margin compared to the guys outside the top 3. But the top 3 now within 3.5 seconds. Matthew Thornworth gaining slowly but surely. Thomas Bressie, he's been able to pick up every scrap, and now it's within a second as the Morton machine leads him down to the final segment and the final chicane at a speed of 150. As we mentioned before, the biggest braking segment for him, as he's got that thing at breakneck speed. 23 become 22 laps to go, and you know what that means live on FDN, the TrackCams22.com. Crank it up. Track Cams for Gourmets, the best cameras on the iRacing service, as we take it uninterrupted for a few laps time. We'll be back by the 21-20 lap to go mark. We'll see you then as we go uninterrupted for our Crank It Up live on FDN. This is the Task Force 300 Grand Prix, led by Justin Morton, and the cameras brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmets. And we're going to come back from a Crank It Up just a bit early, as we can see the fans are willing on their drivers. Right now, Thomas Bressie has a big wave of chat room momentum. Medicinal Whiskey, Jay Recker, and Deadshot Gaming. It looks like your man is right on the target right now, chasing the man in that number 24. Bressie right there, getting closer and closer. Going to be X-Slide Killer James as well. And now Bressie goes down the inside line, trying to make it happen. Down the inside indeed. He's got that apex, and he's going for a blue shade there as well. He's going to be able to keep himself right in the mix. A shade of victory for the man at the number 24 machine. And it's going to be side by side. Morton's all out of sorts. Now they go to the final chicane, and Justin has been real loosened up. The Nine Machine keeps it going, but he's got himself in a load of trouble as Thomas Bressi is right in his rear view mirror, and it might be just a bit worse than that. He's getting closer and closer time after time. That 24 machine is, as Matthew Thoners there in third takes the top three down the front. Once again, the DRS zone used Tyler Larson. Thank you for stopping by, a lot of first-time viewers. We hope you enjoy this one as Bressi's the man on the move here and now. That 24 machine had Justin Morton all out of sorts, and this leading battle has gotten more and more intense by the moment. The number 24 right there trying to keep himself in tow. Morton now leading the field once again. Trevor Drago, the next lap machine they might have to face, and last time they saw a lap machine, it was a kerfuffle. The Nine machine was all slippery and slidey, and it looks like, thankfully for his sake, he was able to save it, but it was not without giving up that lead for only a moment. Side by side they were for the top spot, as Ackley now side by side with Cody Griffin, and I believe that's going to be the man in the number 9 machine up in front. Once again, it's going to be Draco who lets him by without much hesitation, and now Thomas Bressi getting oh so close. Let's ride aboard with Thomas Bressi as the battle for the lead is as intense as it can get. Take a look on board here and now as the number 24 on the right side of your screen. This is exactly what he sees right now in the cockpit. And barreling it into the final segment once again. The final chicane, closer and closer they come to it. Bressi trying everything he can right now. Backs up his entry, trying to get a better exit. Morton goes a bit wider, and the 24 tries to get a good run down the DRS zone. They're up to 140, trying to get it to 145. Now going to be about 150. And Bressi falls back just a bit, but Morton goes wide once more, using every inch of that circuit. Justin Morton does. As they go to the final chicane, Morton gets a two-wheeling. Bressi falls back just a bit, and the number 24 machine is oh so close, but not enough just now. And now it looks like Matthew Thoners puts the pressure down at his own right, and the number 24 not able to get him by that time around. We'll see whether or not he does later, and of course we'll see whether or not Justin Morton will be able to hold on in his own right. It looks like for now it might not be the case. The number 24 falls back just a bit, and Morton leads the way with a just about 7/10 gap in front of the remainder of the pack. And the top three drivers having the battle of their life right now. As we look at the remainder of the field, Cody Smith with Cody Griffin getting closer and closer. It's going to be a two-man battle between Ackley and the number 22 machine is there with Cody Griffin. As Smith right there in the back of the frame. Jacob Fife going to be with Braxton Weiss. Alan Dom's going to be in ninth right now, and he looks to be in a bit of trouble. A little bit of a right side damage and a bit of left side damage as well, but nothing too major. Thunder's now going to be able to gain in on Thomas Bressi, and as they are getting too close for comfort, Bressi falling back just a bit on Morton, and Thunder's not falling back at all. This might be the closest he's been all night long to making it happen for a second here. And with 19 laps to go, he needs this. Every opportunity he can take will be for the better as he gets closer and closer to the man in that number 24. Now, Justin Morton has an opportunity to breathe. Take a look at the rear end section of that number 9 Toyota Supra. The rear view mirror, this is exactly what it sees, give or take, and that number 9 machine is thankful to see a battle right behind him there for position number 2. And 22 laps in out of 40 here in the Nürburgring Grand-Prix-Strecke. You can see that the German circuit has only given 3 drivers a major chance at the victory. And a great shot for the man at the number 9 machine as he holds on out in front. Bressi going to be right there in second. And then Matthew Thunders, your last road course winner, hangs on in third. And as they slice and dice through the circuit, you can see coming down through the pit road area once again, Justin Morton. Last time he went down pit road was about 12 laps ago. On lap number 10, we'll see if this time by he tries to stretch it to the checkered flag. Now that would be a major risk, and that might be an unfounded risk if we have not yet seen any driver make it happen much past the, of course, lap 10, lap 15 threshold. Lap 20 would be unforeseen for any driver. Bressi goes down to the inside line. Now they'll be side by side for lead for only a moment, and now the number 9 machine able to pull away once again. Not much can be done from the 24 so far. Just biding his time, making something happen later will be the way to go, as the 9 machine keeps himself right there in the mix. With 18 laps to go, we got a special announcement from Next Level Racing, a next level battle out in front, but we'll get this one back on your screen in just a moment as we get right into it. Next Level Racing has a partnership, and it's an official partnership with Ferrari, officially licensed Ferrari products designed for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. We'll be right back for our Next Level Racing promotional break in just a moment. A next level drive by all three drivers in the podium, and we will return in just a moment. This is your Next Level Racing promotional break, number 1 of the night, and we hope you enjoy the presentation of the Task Force 300 Grand Prix live on FTN, and you'll only catch it here and now. And that has been your first Next Level Racing promotional break. Once again, Next Level Racing, high-quality sim racing performance products since 2009. Visit Next Level Racing for more information on every product, including their new licensed Ferrari gear made for dedicated sim racers who want to step up in their sim racing game. Once again, Next Level Racing, a proud partner of the Integrity Racing League, live on FTN. Let's get right back into it right now. Justin Morton holds on. Thomas Bressi only about 4/10 back, and Matthew Thonors there in third as one man goes down pit road. It appears it'll be Alan Dobbs, the first in our new pit cycle. He'll take it right there, and now the first man on your second cycle is in and in. This might be a 3-stopper for Alan Dobbs as the number 9 machine keeps himself out in front, dedicating himself right there. And with this, of course, pit cycle playing out the way it has, Thomas Bressi might want to make the undercut on Justin Morton to go from here on out. Of course, that remains to be seen if he does that or if he does not, because he's been able to gain an awful lot of time onward without the fact. And with these newer tires, he might have a bit more in store for the later run. Might be able to get to go for a few extra laps to get that overcut working. But right now, Morton has kept them all in check. It's far from a checkmate, though, as Jutton, it has been far from, of course, perfect. Every driver right now making a few more mistakes than they'd like, and Morton thankfully keeping himself right in play. There's a lot of support for Thomas Bressi, the man in second, looking to get that lead once again. Bressi had that first run in check, but right now in our second run, he's not been able to do just that. Morton is now going to see a side-by-side battle. Thonors to the outside. Bressi has that optimal inside line. He'll have it through the Spa-Francorchamps-esque switchback. Although now Morton trying to make a run for his money, not going to be able to make it work though. Willie is going to be side by side for the second, and now Morton sees a double file battle indeed. Bressi going to have that jump right off the corner once again. Nothing, no use so far, and the man with the newest tires tries to get by Bressi. It is not going to work that time by, and with 16 laps to do it, the battle rages on out in front. Another man down pit road beside Alan Dobbs. It's going to be the Ford Smith machine. No, we got Gael Brooks. Gael Brooks now going to be the other end of the circuit. He is currently in the 14th spot, looking to cycle back up once again. And right now appears to be Alan Dobbs, the first man to get that cycle going. A minute and 30 seconds off of your race leader in the number 9 machine. But Matthew Thonors that time by did indeed get by Thomas Bressi. And now the new tires are going to be put to work here. And with 16 laps to go, 15 laps on the Justin Morton stint of reset, it might just be the undercut that gets the victory. Will Bressi choose to go in this time by? Will Thonors choose to? That remains to be seen. All the leaders could come down to this time by on their own accord. It could be a calculated measure for some, maybe not for others. It's impulse versus calculation here in Germany, and the 9 machine has calculated it to, of course, its own science. The 9 machine has had very little competition on this first run for him out in front. The second run overall, Bressi did get side by side for the lead, not able to make it stick. Matthew Thonors now chasing him. Will he make it stick? That remains to be seen as 25 laps in. Bressie goes in, and that's the undercut we were expecting. The 24 down and in. And we do have a lot of guys who I believe are watching for the first time, so thank you, of course, for the support in the chat room. But now, time to get a little bit of a word in on our pit strategy. Undercuts, you go in before the guys you're racing with and trying to get new tires, new fuel before anyone else. Well, you might have a bit of a deficit in time and pace earlier on, or rather in position. Your pace will be immediately quicker. And for Justin Morton, he pulled off an undercut before, came at a pit road before Thunderhorse and Bressie, and now, with that being said, he might be able to play a longer run game. Bressie might, if he gets that pace right off the jump and makes it happen. He'll have to run the laps of his life here and now. Justin Morton, that time by about 3.5 seconds off his all-time best lap. So that goes to show how major the pace deficit is right now. Bressie gets 2 or 3 laps with this, of course, advantage in the time and pace of his laps. He might be able to make something happen. Thunderhorse goes down to the inside line. We're side by side for lead here in the Nürburgring, and it's going to be 8 and 9 doing battle. And it looks like that time by Morton shuts the door, and it's going to be a major gap that was evaporated in just a moment. Matthew Thunderhorse has clawed his way back from just about 10 seconds down to be right beside your man out in front. And the last stretch, it is indeed, Jay. And this could be it for Bressie. He's currently going to be 4th on the board despite pitting, and he is now 33 seconds off. And with that being said, he would be the leader if the drivers in front of him get a 38-second pit stop. So this could be the winning move, as the 9 machine and the 8 machine both in tow right now. The 8 and the 9 right there, vice versa. They've been fighting as hard as they can, and this dogfight only makes them slower. And now Rob Ackley almost on their pace, and when Ackley's on their pace, you know it's time to pit. Morton down the pit road that time by. Thunderhorse is your new race leader with 15 laps to go here in the Nürburgring. And with 15 to do it, it's going to be yet another time for the man out in front to lead this event. Now make it 14 laps to go, and it has been a great showing for the man in the 8. Thomas Bressie now chasing Rob Ackley, and with all this pace advantage, Ackley is of course going to race him here, but we'll see how easy it's going to be for 24 to get by, and it is just like that. Ackley lets him right by, and now Bressie's up to the 3rd, and he'll be able to get right into 2nd here now as he comes down the front stretch where all of the pit stalls are, and the number 24 makes it right by the DRS zone, and he's going to rush right in as Justin Morton there in 2nd. He has no choice but to get it going here and now. Bressie gets right by him, and now Morton going to be about 2-3 seconds off of Rob Ackley, so he'll be about 4 seconds off of the man in that number 24 as Joe Dinsmore right in front of him as well. Lap traffic playing a factor here. We'll see how major that factor is. Dinsmore going to let him by, and now the 9's on the hunt. One last leader to go in is not going to be Jacob Fife. Fife goes in with McQuistion and Cody Griffin here, but Matthew Thunderhorse out in front on his own. He has a 30-second edge of the remainder of the field. Rob Ackley and Justin Morton at a 38.7 pit stop. Thomas Bressie at a pit stop 0.6 of a second faster. So that time by, Bressie gets the pit stop he absolutely needed, and the pit stop, of course, that he wanted in that same vein, as the 8 now has to make himself known, and he has to get himself a perfect pit stop. His pit crew is awaiting him one more time. The 8 machine going to be able to go down this time around, and he will be the final leader to go in. If he goes in this time by, it's going to be a bit of a early call on my ad, but you can see now he actually keeps it out, and it's going to be a last-second decision as the 8 machine does not go in, and that's going to be an early call on our end there, as we did expect him, and now he could try to play the long game here. The 24 now has himself in 2nd with 28 seconds to gain and 38 seconds to lose for Matthew Thunderhorse on pit road. Thunderhorse going to stay out for at least one more lap, and he chooses to keep it going. 13 to do it, a baker's dozen here at the Task Force 300 Grand Prix, and it's been a grand race for him in that DMG United number 8 machine, uniting himself with the top spot on the board. He's been able to do so effortlessly all night long, and connecting his good years to pavement. He has been able to pound them time after time. Braxton Weiss now looks to be in the 7th spot. He'll be able to cycle up into, I believe, the 6th spot when all is said and done on this run, if Matthew Thunderhorse has a catastrophe. But right now, it's going to be all about DeWeese fighting Griffin. Cody Griffin now going to be 9 seconds up on him, and Cody Smith 23 seconds up on Cody Griffin here. So a nice and smooth cycle for the man in that number 18. As it stands, only 4 retirees. And Cal Filarski, TJ Stagner, Brandon Wenchard, and Alec Davin, 19 men on the circuit so far. Of course, it could be less as the checkered flag follows. It could be, in fact, more if drivers continue racing after a bit of damage repair, but we are uncertain of just that. And as it is, the number 24 machine in second as the number 8 machine is getting chased down, and this will be his final pit stop, like it or not, for Matthew Thunders. He has to make it here and now. Justin Morton, 4.5 seconds off of the man in that number 24, and now Thunders has to choose once again if he wants to go in here or go in later as the 8 machine goes through the final chicane one more time, and maybe gonna delegate himself down to pit road, maybe not. That he does, and with 13 becoming 12 laps to do it, he will come down pit road this time by. With 12 laps to go, you will get your second of 3 Next Level Racing promotional breaks out of the way. Next Level Racing, high quality sim racing performance products since 2009. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information. When we come back from the break, we more than likely will have a new race leader in Thomas Bressi. The pit cycle will conclude in just a moment. We will be right back. And after our second Next Level Racing promotional break, a next level pit strategy as Thomas Bressi does in fact take the lead here in the Nürburgring. He is there out in front by 3 seconds over Justin Morton and 4 seconds over Matthew Thunhorst, as now the battle is on its way and the number 24 machine has it for now. It's not all for certain just yet. It of course remains to be seen if he's going to be able to hold on, but it looks like for now he has something in the cars that could get him that checkered flag. It doesn't do it, and we thank you once again for tuning in as we thank Next Level Racing, a quality sim racing performance partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Integrity Ignite Series. High quality sim racing performance products since 2009. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information, and we'll get right back to the uninterrupted action live on FTN. And that number 24 machine now has himself out in front over the remainder of the field, and this could be his as the number 24 machine holds on with Justin Morton there in second. Matthew Thunders is actually 7 seconds off and 4 seconds off of Morton. So now the number 8 machine might have made the overcut work before, but will he make it happen again with all this crunch time, of course, impact in mind? It could be all she wrote that time around, as the number 24 machine now has about 3 seconds on the Morton machine. Now Justin Morton in the same spot as Thomas Bressi was last time we saw a pit cycle, in that catbird seat, chasing down the man out in front. Now that's a great spot to be in for any driver, but we'll see whether or not the man in that number 9 machine is able to do exactly what Bressi did. Pass him for only a brief moment, but more importantly, get right to him and perhaps force a mistake. Mistakes are always made on road courses, even if you're the best of a driver. It gets the better of you, like it or not. It tends to happen at least once in a season, and now Morton looking to make a mistake happen right in front of him. That number 9 machine is on the tear. Take a look on board with the man in that number 9. And as you can see, taking a winding straightaway, he is now 1.7 seconds off. So while Bressi does have that edge right now, it appears the man in that number 9 machine is slowly but surely gaining in on your man out in front. Now this might not be much to worry about for Bressi at the moment, but it could accumulate more and more lost time and could end up eventually as a major factor in the strategy of this race and pushing hard. Bressi might have to do a bit more of it. That time by, Justin Morton ran his fastest lap of the race, a 150.129. So if you don't think this thing's getting any more intense, well, you'd have to think twice, as right now, Morton running faster than he's ever ran before in the Nürburgring. That time by was oh so close to the best lap all night long, and Bressi has that lap at a 150.013. He's within a tenth of the all-time fastest in the Integrity Racing League here in this circuit, so keep an eye out on the perhaps track record in this league being broken, as now Morton is pushing harder than ever to make something happen. And down through the front stretch once again, that seemed to be unicorn pace, meaning it is a one and done with that amount of speed. Down to the front stretch once again, the Morton machine gets steep in second, and he loses 6/10 on that lap compared to his best, but still faster than Bressie and the rest. Matthew Thunder's that time by is actually the fastest man on the circuit, and an unbelievable record-shattering number, a 1:49.593 in race pace, and that is a new track record in the Integrity Racing League by a wide margin, and he gets it done in race pace. How about that? The 1:49.593 to remember for Matthew Thunders. He gets it done and puts his fastest lap on the board in this race. What a lap that was, and that is one of the fastest laps we've seen in this session. Besides, of course, the race, it was qualifying and practice. Well, I don't think we've seen anything just like that. Looking back at qualifying, this might just be the best lap by a wide margin, and my oh my, that it was for the race pace. Only 3/10 off of pole position. He is pushing as hard as he can, as right now, Bressie has an 8/10 advantage on the remainder of the field. Keep an eye out for all the action and then some, because it seems like the action is far from dead. The number 24 machine has an 8/10 of a second advantage on the remainder of the field, but it is not a done deal. If you enjoy the action, be sure to leave a like on the channel and subscribe. Every piece of support we get is crucial to supporting this league and every great driver that puts on these shows night after night. Thomas Bressie putting on a great show in his own right now. He has two drivers chasing fastest laps overall right behind him, so the pressure, it is as high as it can get, as that 8 machine broke the race pace record here in the Integrity Racing League, and Justin Morton not too far behind. Bressie right now running 151s, as it's going to be Morton running a 150 that time by, and Matthew Thornhorst running a 1:49.593 last time through, and that time by now it's going to be 6/10 of a second separating your top two here in Germany. And your top two drivers are oh so close to getting into a battle. That time by, Thunders ran another 1:49, and he ran it quite easily. It's going to be 2 qualifying laps in a row, and this is the man to keep an eye out for. He seems to be the fastest guy here in this circuit, and while he's not in the top 2 right now, he might be able to gain some more time and get right up there, as Bressie losing more and more pace. Those tires are getting a bit more warm, getting a bit more disc-shaped, and it's going to be a bit of a misshape, as a matter of fact, we mentioned, as these tires do get a bit less slick, have a little bit less grip. It'll become a bit more of a challenge to keep going, as every gear shift, every hard braking zone will make it that much harder to keep that lead. But right now, Bressie has it, and with 9 laps to do it, he just has to hold that position. And right now, with a narrow circuit like the Nürburgring, most turns are not meant for 2 cars. He might have it done, and that's a sort of an attribute of Formula 1 racing, I'd say. Not a big issue in stock car racing, but passing in Formula 1 is as hard as it can get. And right now, Bressie making his car the widest Chevy Camaro in all of Germany, as he goes up and down the track every time. And now Thunhorst is watching with, of course, hopeful eyes, as the 24 machine is playing defense like he can't defend anymore. He's got all he has in one hand, and might be 2. His steering wheel, it's going to be gripped hard, as this win is all he wants from Germany. Right now, it's going to be a big run from Justin Morton. That time by, gets right through the curves, and while he does get 2 wheels once again, he might have enough space to make something happen down into the pit entry segment. Morton goes a bit wide that time by, loses some more time on the entry, and it's going to be the exit where he gets a bit more intrigue, and that entry, as we mentioned, not what he wanted, and here we go once again. Bressie going down to the first segment once more, passing by the Alan Rawwell machine. That 43 comes right into frame, and Thunhorst dives deep. It's going to be a 3-man race now, as the number 8 machine gets as close as he can get. Now it's going to be side by side for the race lead for just a moment. Not going to be clear at all. Justin Morton does not make anything happen. That time by 8 laps to go, and Bressie holds on to that number 24. And Matthew Thornhorst talk about incredible laps. That time by, he was a second faster than both drivers in that top 2, and he has set some records. The Integrity Racing League has gone to, of course, the Nürburgring for the first time here tonight in the Ignite Series, and he has the record for a race pace lap, a 1:49.593, and one hell of a lap that was, as the number 24 machine holds on in first. It's going to be Justin Morton there in second, Matthew Thornhorst there in third, and the fourth spot is going to be Cody Smith, as he's going to have Rob Ackley chasing him there. Now Smith in a lot of trouble. Ackley has an awful lot of pace. He's going to be fighting as hard as he can to get into that fourth spot. And with 8 laps to go, the battle wages on and it rages on as that number 24 keeps himself in tow. And now got Brandon Bernhardt right in front. Bernhardt gonna let him right by, and he's gonna get right stuck on the apron. Von North gets through, Morton gets through, but it's gonna be a bit of a saving grace for the 24 machine, as now with 33 laps in the books, he gets a major run down to the final chicane, the fastest segment on the track, getting up to about 159 as a matter of fact, then braking as hard as one can get down to about 40 miles an hour. The 24 machine now has that edge by about 2.3 of a second. How about that? And it looks like Jay Recker saying there's going to be a promotional helicopter made for the Task Force 300 if he gets it done, and that would be a pleasurable sight to see. The red, white, and blue colors of the number 24 machine representing Task Force quite well, and the task is to keep the force on that car. The G-forces, they might be simulated in iRacing, but it's still some real racing to behold, as the number 9 machine now sees Morton, of course, in that car, and sees Stonor's right behind him. That number 8 machine getting closer and closer time after time here, and now Bressie pulling away for the first time in quite some time, 2/10 faster that time by the Morton. And the battle might be dying down just a bit, but that does not mean it is dead at all. Rob Ackley that time by now going to find himself within a half second of position number 4, and you can see now Ackley gets it down to the inside line and gets it on the exit of the DRS zone. There he goes, the 22 going to be able to 18, and as they come down the front stretch once again, Ackley looking for a major mistake out of the Cody Smith machine as they barrel in, going down to the 150-yard braking zone. The 18 does not get it squirrely that time by, but Ackley seems to have enough pace to fight for 4th. We'll keep an eye on this battle as night goes on. They're 43 seconds off your leader, so we'll be certainly able to see this one after the leaders cross the checkered flag. It's going to be 11 drivers on the lead lap right now. Gael Brooks is in jeopardy of being lapped. He's about 1 minute and 40 seconds off your leaders right now. And as you can see, they are in the same camera shot for the first time tonight. Gael Brooks having a great night, but right now falling prey perhaps to the leaders. Has 7 laps to go. See Thomas Bressie following nobody so far. He has nobody to follow indeed, except for that 71 machine, and Justin Morton sends it deep every time they hit this chicane. 2-wheels it, and he is no stranger to aggressive racing. Justin Morton is not. He wants his first win as bad as anyone could want it. The number 9 machine wants to turn his season around just like that. Bressie has won this season, but he wants another, and he wants it at a track other than Talladega. He won by the slimmest of margins last time around at the plate track where anyone could have won it, and right now only 3 drivers have been in contention all night long, and he is one of those 3. Now, 6 laps to do it here in the Nürburgring. And that time by the 9 machine gets oh so close on that back bumper. One driver going to get out of the way. That's going to be Gael Brooks. The top 3 go by just like that. Riding on the nose camera of that number 9 machine. Justin Morton's nose is oh so close to the rear end of the 24. And it shows as the 24 backs it in. Almost getting the curb there. Apex optimization. He's going to follow through with every turn. Although Morton gets a much better entry that time by. The exit is what is critical. It's not about where you start or how you start. It's about where you finish, and finishing out with a much better exit on the turns matters all too much in road racing for some drivers, and it matters oh so much as now Justin Morton, as Matthew Thoner is pressuring him as hard as he can get it. As side by side, these guys up front are not, but they are battling with wits end in mind as the 24 with 6 to do it holds on out in front. Thomas Bressie keeps himself in position number 1, and he's in position to get a victory if he keeps himself, of course, in the first spot. As it is, Rob Ackley now half second off of the Cody Smith machine. The battle for 4th is intense. It might not be the leading battle, but keep an eye on it as the night goes on. We do have timing and scoring information for your leading battle, so you won't miss a thing as we keep you up to date on just that. Ackley there with Cody Smith side by side. They were for a moment before, but now they seem to be more distant as Morton now has Justin Morton, of course, his rear end, get it back up, and Matthew Thonor's there. The back end chicane is always where these guys get stacked up, but Bressie, no stranger to getting stacked up as Alan Dobbs not coming out of pit road this time by. It was a 2-stop race on strategy, and 6 laps become 5 laps to go. And a next level drive from every leading machine, the number 5 lap to go mark. We have hit it at Next Level Racing, a final promotional break. High quality sim racing performance product since 2009. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information. We will be right back from your third and final Next Level Racing promotional break, and from there on out, we will be all the way, no interruptions, live on FTN. Can't miss action on the final laps of the Task Force 300 Grand Prix, and that was your final Next Level Racing promotional break. We go from here on out uninterrupted, and with 5 laps to go, Thomas Bressi has not had an interruption in his lead all stint long. The 24 comes in out in front. He got through first on pit road and first in this event so far. 5 laps to do it, and once again, NextLevelRacing.com, a proud supporter of the Integrity Racing League, the winner of the Ignite Series and Octane Series championships. They both get a full simulation rig worth $2,000 US, and right now Bressi knows he's in contention for just that. Down to the stripe once again, make it 4 laps to go, led by Bressi. Get it right there. The number 9 machine is Matthew Thunders there in third, and Cody Smith going to be in fourth, now in front of Rob Ackley, and 6/10 deficit. It's going to be the 22 machine chasing down that 18 with very little time on the board. Morton going to be able to go down to the right hand, or right with the number 24. Nothing just yet. The 24 holds on out in front. The Task Force 300 machine has himself out in front, and it must feel like 300 miles here in the Nürburgring, although it might not be. 40 laps, and it is a hard effort for any driver to keep it going, and right now consistency has been key. That 24 holds on out in front. It's going to be Justin Morton there in second, Matthew Thunders there in third, and you can see that Cody Smith not going to make a big mess up there on the final straight. He gets right through, and now it's going to be Rob Ackley right behind him. Side by side they might be. Ackley goes down the inside line, might be able to lunge this time by, and that it looks like he just might. He gets on the brakes just a bit earlier. He does consolidate down to the outside once again and gives Smith just a bit more time and forces a mistake. That's exactly what he wanted. Now Ackley going to be able to get right by him, and they will get a perfect switch over. Ackley down to the inside line, and that is exactly what Rob Ackley wanted. Now he's going to be in the 4th spot and might be able to clear this time by. It looks like that he will. A perfect maneuver for the man in that number 22. Thomas Bressi right now running a perfect final stint out in front with 4 laps to go. And Bressi right there in tow with the leaders, Justin Morton and Thunders, that kept them honest. But so far, honestly, the best policy in more than one way. No aggressive racing short of a few lunges in and lunges out. It has not been all too much a wreckfest game out in front. Drivers with an awful lot of respect, and we love to see it, as the Integrity Racing League has been doing sim racing right since 2012, and with 4 laps to go, becoming 3 laps to go, it's going to be all about that number 24, and the Task Force 300 machine now has 3 to do it out in front of the Nürburgring. Kyle Cooper, the next man in jeopardy of being a lap down. He's 1 minute and 30 seconds off of your leader. The 73 machine now has to judge every inch just perfect to not be put a lap down, and more importantly, keep himself at full pace. Jacob Fife is only about 8/10 behind. Alan Dobbs right now battling for 9th, as is, and now Cody Smith 4/10 off of Rob Ackley, but we don't meet it any other way besides the truth. The battle up front might be the closest battle all night long. The 9 machine still right there with them, right on board with Thomas Bressi once again. And this number 24 Chevy Camaro has Justin Morton right there with him. Thunders is in the mix, and now they'll get right down on the power, and it's going to be a bit of a slip out for Morton there. You can see the wheel work in that cockpit. iRacing with such a detailed view of every driver's cockpit, it is evident that these guys are holding on with what they've got, and it might not be all too much. It's been 12 laps on these tires for Bressi, 11 for Morton, and then 9 for Matthew Thunders. He could be able to drill through these guys just like that if he just gets a bit more of an opening that time. By though, Morton goes down to the inside line, not going to be able to make all too much happen, and right down the line, once again. They might go, of course, in this order. They might shuffle up just a bit, and now they got the Kyle Cooper machine right in front of them. No, they do not. That looks to be another driver, and that driver looks to be Boomer Logan. So Logan get right in front of the leaders. He gets right out of their way. Nice and respectful move, and they come down the line once again with a man in the number 24 machine still out in front. And inside the cockpit, Morton leads them down in that second spot, but it's going to be Thomas Bressi taking them through with 2 laps to go here in the Nürburgring. And 2 laps to go out in front. The number 24 machine has not let up all night long. He played that tire strategy perfect, and now he has the leading position to show for it as an machine inches closer and closer. Matthew Thornhorst there in third. Morton getting there in second, and Thomas holds on strong, and the crowd willing him on here. I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. The virtual crowd as strong as it could be in iRacing, but in YouTube, your support means the world. Is what keeps us going night after night. Down to the inside, a bit of a push and shove it could have been, but Morton going to keep it honest and not have anything happen just yet. Waiting for the last lap, he just might be, as Jacob Fife battling with Alan Dobbs here. Dobbs does have damage, Jacob Fife does not. So Fife, who has to be able to gain 10th after 10th, lap after lap, might be able to make an honest run at it one final time. As Rob Ackley and Cody Smith continue to battle, they get through the front stretch. That time by, they're now 46 seconds off of your leaders, as Morton slowly but surely following that number 24 machine as they whittle and waddle through the final segment of the circuit this time by. It looks like that 24 machine has been able to hold them off without much difficulty. 39 laps in, it might not seem difficult from our end, but I am certain that Bressi is feeling a much different sort of way, and right now it seems like it's all the concentration in the world. That number 24 machine holds on strong as they go through the final chicane this time by. Morton dives it in just a bit deeper. Bressi going to be much more conservative that time by. No luck for the 9 machine, and it looks like its final chance this lap leads to one more chance overall. And down to the pit straight once again. It will be 1 lap to do it here for the number 24 machine. How about we do something we haven't done in the history of the FDN channel? Let's ride our final lap on board with the leader at the white flag lap and see whether or not he's going to be able to hold on. On the right side of your screen, Thomas Bressi's onboard camera. On the left, your TV feed without any interruptions. And of course, the ticker on the top of your screen like it's nothing. Morton's going to be battling with Thunderous now, and that's going to distract them both. Your leader able to pull away once again. 0.6 of a second, and you can see right inside the view that Thomas Bressi has his VR headset being casted out on FDN, and you can see very little stopping him right now. Minor head movements. You can see his virtual meter on top of the screen. He sees everything he needs to see right now, and very little distracting him. He now is about 0.7 of a second up with the remainder of the field. He has it done and done for every lap but this one. He needs to get through one more lap to win the Task Force 300 Grand Prix, and the show could be his. The second international trip all season long, and right now he has it out in front. The final lap, this is indeed. And right now he has about 0.7 up on Justin Moore. We'll see how intense these guys at the back of the pack choose to get right now. It appears they are not close enough to make a lunge or a dive as Bressi leads them in one final time, and it looks like the final segment they are in. At the last chicane will be the final chance. Morton gains a 10th. He gains almost 2 that time by, but it's no use so far, and Bressi leads them down once again. And through the fastest part of the circuit, the final chicane, the final shot, will Morton dive it in. The number 9 machine on your frame. He sends it as deep as he can, breaks a bit later, but he's not close enough that time by. The 24 machine out in front. And from Germany, the home of endurance racing with the Nordschleife right beside the Grand Prix race in the Nürburgring, the Task Force 300 Grand Prix, finishing off this time by, and the man on task all night long gets it done. Representing Task Force 300, Thomas Bressi wins for the Nürburgring and gets it done round 9 of the season. And Thomas Bressi, the number 24 machine, like Jeff Gordon before him, a road course ace. And he wins for the Nürburgring. And Bressi taking his victory lap as he gets it done in the Task Force 300 Grand Prix. How about that? Let's get your results on your screen. How about that job. The number 24 machine plays the pit strategy perfect, and that's exactly the reason he comes home with your victory and gets that victory by 0.4 of a second over Justin Moore. Matthew Thoner is there in third, 1.6 seconds back, with Rob Ackley in fourth, 52 seconds off. Cody Smith's going to be there in fifth, Cody Griffin there in sixth, Braxton Weed's going to be 1:17 off in seventh, and Alan Dobbs in eighth, with Jacob Fife right behind him there in ninth. Kyle Cooper, the last man on your lead lap, finishes in 10th, and the remainder of the field goes as follows. Kyle Brooks 1 lap down, Forrest Smith 1 lap down as well, with Joe Dinsmore 13th. Then Brian McFerrin in 14th, and Trevor Trago in 15th. Boomer Logan going to be there in the 16th spot. Brandon Bernhardt going to be in 17th, with Alan Rodwell 18th. Travis McQuistion 19th, and Alec Davin 20th. Brian Wencher going to be 21st spot. DJ Stagner 27th, and Cal Volarski, your final man in this lineup tonight. What a race that was. And the fireworks have erupted in the chat. Thank y'all for stopping by. Thomas Bressi wins his second race of the season, and he gets that one done with some dominating force for Task Force. And the checkered flag is indeed out now. We can see that 24 machine rounding the final turn to get to the front stretch one more time. He'll be due for an interview in just a moment here, and we will get him in as soon as this burnout is over. Take a look at the celebration here for the 24 machine. Christo Weiss, Deadshot Gaming, Medicinal Whiskey, James J. Recker, X Slide Clear, and Blue Shade. Thank you all for your consistent support tonight as the 24 gets ready to burn it down. And be sure to stick around for a winning interview with the man of the 24 machine. He gets it done and burns it down the entirety of the front stretch here in the Grand-Prix-Strecke. And the motor, it has blown, but I am almost certain, as every week, Thomas Bressi will be celebrating this one far after the checkered flag falls. The 24 machine gets it done from the Nürburgring, and this one was as hard fought as it could get. And for the Task Force 300 crew, he gets it done for the premier sponsor of this event. How about that? Tire strategy played out in your favor, and you held them off from there. Thomas Bressi wins for Task Force 300 in the Task Force 300 Grand Prix. How was it out there in the Nürburgring?
I am smoked right now. Oh, man. I was driving so hard there. Hats off to Justin and Matt for a good, clean race there the whole night. That was crazy. We were super, super close on pace, and it was just down to either little mistakes or the pit strategy and figuring out who was going to do what. I was kind of planning on doing more even thirds, and Justin stopped early, and I was like, there's no way he's going to do 3 stops, which he didn't, obviously, and that wasn't even the plan, he said, but and then Matt went longer, so they were kind of doing the opposite of each other, and I wasn't really sure where it was going to shake out. Probably could have beaten or gotten the lead back from Justin in that middle stint, but I just totally blew turn one. I think it was on my my first time lap or something. So that was kind of stupid, but yeah. So and then I kind of smoked the rear sitting behind him, and I was faster, but I just didn't quite have enough to get by him. There's one time I got next to him. I forget what corner it was near before that last chicane, and he kind of pinched me down a little on the curb, and I got a little loose, and I couldn't finish it there. So burnt the rears off. Matt got by, and then I was going to go a lap longer for the last stop, and I was like, well, you're going to get passed by the one guy that's got newer tires. The other guy's probably realized that he needs to pit about the same time for the last stop, and your rears are smoked, and you're going to keep losing time. So I just went in a lap early, and that ended up being the difference. I was hoping maybe it would, because I mean, Justin got the lead obviously on the second run and was able to kind of hold us all back, but I wasn't sure, just with how I destroyed the rears the second run, if I'd be able to hang on and It was close, but we got it.
And close it was, but that final pit stop was the difference. So how did the car drive here? Certainly an unknown taking on the Nurburgring for the first time out of the Integrity Racing League. So what really made a difference in your, of course, running of the circuit? Was the fuel strategy, the tires, how did they wear? Can you tell us a bit more how it was in that car?
It was, I mean, honestly, I had fun. I mean, I was driving my backside off, but I did enjoy it. It suits these cars rather well, I feel like. And at least I felt like it felt like it was a good match. I'm not sure about, how everybody else felt, but I mean, it's so easy to just destroy the tires. So it's a fine balance of trying to save a little bit, but then also get lap time out and not make mistakes, like especially into the turn 1 and the last chicane. It was so easy to get in there and just start wheel hopping. And I mean, I was half doing it every lap anyways. It was that on edge. So, I mean, it was a challenge, but I had fun. I felt like the car was actually a decent match for the track. I hope we come back. I had fun. I hope everybody else did. Shout out to the Task Force 300 guys. I know I got a couple messages from them, so hopefully they enjoyed the race. And thanks for, of course, sponsoring the race. For anyone that's interested in finding out about us at Task Force 300, our Discord link is down in the description. You can talk with one of our recruiters. We'd be happy to have you. But yeah, good night. Not too bad rolling into the off week.
And rolling into the off weekend, Dean, you mentioned it just a bit more, or rather just a bit before we got into it. Now, one more off week on the season before we get to our clash, and actually one more race before that at Iowa. So the clash starting soon. We'll have a more in-depth analysis of that at Iowa, and we got our points graphics all up on the broadcast. So going into then, you got 2 wins on the season so far in the last 3 races. So you are on a roll here. How's it going to be going at Iowa for one final non-clash race?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it goes well. Iowa's never actually been a track that I've loved all that much, but I tend to do okay there. It's kind of like New Hampshire. I hate it, but I run well there. The last time I went there in a league race, I felt like I could have won and then had a hardware issue and didn't even finish, which sucked. So, I hopefully we can maybe pick up one more win before the clash starts. But yeah, like you said, we've been on a bit of a hot streak here lately, which has been good. I think we've been second first in the last 4 races, which is nice because the start of the season was a little messy on my part, but I'm glad we're finally getting somewhere consistent and it's at the right time. So, if the trend continues, we'll finish second next week, which still wouldn't be bad, but I'm hoping we can do one better.
And that we will hope to see another solid run and another great run indeed. Second win in 3 races for Thomas Bresci and the number 24 machine. Any final thoughts to wrap this one off and anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just again, shout out to the Task Force 300 guys for sponsoring the race and being on the car. League admins, of course, for all they've done. And, everybody that tuned in, you, of course, for doing the broadcast. We've all been a big fan of the product you've put out this year. Just hopefully everybody enjoyed, and we'll see you all in a couple weeks.
And that's what we hope to see Thomas Bresci before our off-week wins here in Germany, getting it done in the Task Force 300 Grand Prix. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, man. See ya.
And there we have it, Bresci on his way, and the one man who was all behind him that entirety of the race, the number 9 machine in Justin Morton. And once again, at a road course, another solid run. That number 9 machine refuses to let his guard down when we go to these road circuits, and Justin Morton, second night here, yet another solid run at a road course. So how do you feel after this one?
I feel like I came up a little bit short there. It's good to get the good finish, but man, I wanted to win there.
And oh, so close on that strategy. It looks like a bit of an undercut from Bresci, and you were right behind him on that tire strategy. How big was the tire in the pit stop segments that we've seen tonight? How big was that in your, of course, role in the successful run you had?
Well, I think the tires really weren't a big factor. It was just that track position. I mean, after our first cycle, I was about 5 laps. I pit 5 laps before Bresci, I think, and Matt was, I think, 5 laps after Bresci. So, I mean, and then I was able to hold them off, both of them at the same time. This track's pretty tricky to pass at too, so that kind of helps. I really wish I got the undercut on that second pit stop. It probably would have worked out better in my favor.
And it looks like the undercut was the way to go there. Now, when it came to the tire degradation, besides strategy, of course, how did the car drive here? Because certainly an unknown going for the Nürburgring for the first time in this league.
The car actually felt really good. There was wheel spin, but that's kind of just what you get when you drive these cars on a road course. It kind of made some things tricky, but the car overall just drove really good, even on burnt up tires, and you could still drive pretty smooth and consistent on the older tires.
And it looks like consistency was indeed key to the road course. Once again, a solid run here. What's been the key to success regardless? Because it seems like whenever we hit the road internationally, you just seem to have something click and you keep yourself up in front all night long.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the better road course racers in the league. And to not win either of them is a little frustrating because those are pretty much my two biggest chances at winning a race in the league, I feel, and just coming up a little bit short in both of them is a bit frustrating. But I feel like I'm a bit of a jack of all trades driver, just like racing everything, and I think that kind of shows with how I race.
And that it did indeed. A versatile driver, Justin Morton. Now, we have an off week before we get to our final non-clash event at Iowa. How are you preparing for that one? Because it is one of the most crucial races in the season.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much out of position to be able to get into the clash, but we'll show up, we'll race, I'll have fun like the rest of the season, and hopefully I can actually finish. So we'll go from there.
And that we will. Now, Justin Morton, runner-up here, the Nürburgring in the Task Force 300 GP. An oh-so-close run, strategy, pace, and everything in between, getting him here in second. Any final thoughts on anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, this track was really fun to race. I was a little questionable about seeing it on the schedule, but it turned out pretty fun. Like to thank my team at JTM Motorsports, fun group of guys to race with and be around. Total Downforce Racing, the other team that I run with and kind of joined together with JTM. Thanks to all the sponsors in the league. Off the top of my head, Next Level Racing, and I know there's a bunch more, but I can't think of the rest. And thank you for doing the broadcast, and you do a great job.
And there we have it, a great run for Justin Morton, the number 9 machine, second on the board here in the Task Force 300 GP. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Now, unfortunately, tonight we won't be able to get the interview from the man in that number 8 machine in Matthew Thunders. Nonetheless, a great run for him in the third position, as the man who comes home at the top of the board is who else but the number 24 in Thomas Bresci. And that will do it for tonight's event. The next time we go live will be tomorrow, and it will be at the same time, 8:50 Eastern, with the Integrity Octane Series as they hit the pavement in Richmond, Virginia for a 200-lap showdown there, round number 8 of the season. We hope you enjoyed there. I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Task Force 300 GP. Once again, I'm David Kreutzer, host for tonight's broadcast, and we hope to see you whenever we're live once again on FTN. Thank you all for watching. We hope you have a great night.